She puts the wow, yum into words. It's the Lafayette food junkie herself on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. Live show tonight. Last weekend, we were driving back from Austin, and in an upcoming episode of the Food Junkie Show, we're going to recap our trip to Austin. It was a fun little adventure. We're going to talk about Austin and how we didn't have a bad meal, and also how amazing the convenience stores are, the gas stations are in
on the way.
In Texas as opposed to Louisiana. Like, what were you gonna say?
I hate Texas.
Okay, you can hate Texas, but those gas stations are pretty cool.
Yeah, no, they're
Do you
nice,
think
they're
it's
clean.
because like the mom and pop gas stations here just have amazing food that's being like plate lunch style food that's being produced? So they just have like these giant, like ginormous, like taco, beef jerky, barbecue emporiums to kind of compete.
Good, solid home food over any clean gas station.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to say I'm kind of a fan of the clean gas stations. Al Abear, who's the gas station gourmet, he goes around the country and he reviews gas station food.
Right.
And then he also reviews the bathrooms. So
bathrooms are a big deal, but you can go to some hole in the wall places and they have pristine.
Yeah, and I get that too. But I mean, like Buc-ee's, like, is pretty cool.
I mean, yeah.
But I've decided that I don't like the food, and we'll talk about that on the upcoming episode. But I'm kind of like, I've decided that I don't think I'm going to stop at Buc-ee's again when I go to Texas. Maybe they have to have the giant gas stations in Texas because Texas is so big and everything's bigger in Texas, and that's why. Just to kind of compete with that. But I'm a fan of those giant gas stations. I don't know.
We're starting to get more and more. Like, they just opened up that racetrack on Commerce right there, and it has all kinds of stuff.
Speaking of giant gas stations in Louisiana and Lafayette specifically, we have is it Richie's Why Not Stop?
The Why Not Stop.
Yeah, and Bob is obsessed with them. He actually waitered them today. That's how obsessed with them
I've never heard of that place.
He is. Okay, I like their hamburgers. They have a really good hamburger, and they're open 24 hours, so you can get the hamburger any time of day.
That's how Junior Food Mart used to be back in the day, like when I was a kid in Erath. It's on Highway 14 right by Champagne's, and this place was open 24/7, served a full menu like fried chicken, burgers, breakfast sandwiches, whatever you wanted. It was all made fresh, but you can get like weird with it. Like, you can wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, or you could be coming home from like a night of partying, hungry, order like the most random thing you can concoct, and if they had it, they would make it. Like, you can order an 8-patty quadruple stack cheeseburger stuffed with chicken or whatever you wanted.
Wow.
Like, you can make anything up and they would do it.
Well, they have like a little, you order it from like a computer. Like, basically, it's like Buc-ee's. Like, Buc-ee's is like that, where you like go to a computer and order it.
Like a little kiosk.
Yeah, so you can do that. And
where's this place at?
It's towards Youngsville, Broussard.
Yeah, on Ambassador towards Broussard.
If you know, I'm blanking.
Oh, like kind of by Shimametary?
Yes.
I've seen that place.
It's huge.
It's crazy good.
Okay, yeah. So the hamburgers are really good. Like, they're like no frills, like basic dive bar burger, and it's really good. He's obsessed with the cinnamon rolls, which I don't even know if they really make them there or if they get them frozen.
It doesn't matter.
But he loves them.
If it's good and you can buy it at a gas station, that's wonderful. I mean, they still have Krispy Kreme at the gas station, and those are fantastic for the most part.
They also sell like a boudin leek, like battered and fried.
Yeah.
Too.
And a full-size meat pie, too.
I'm surprised no one has ever done like a corn dog, but with boudin instead.
Actually, Bread and Circus did that one time for a late night, and it was delicious. Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
They did it like, that was one of their first late nights for the 4th of July, I believe. They did it.
I don't understand how that's not a thing down
here. I feel like it was on the menu for a while, actually, as an appetizer.
Yeah. Like, if the Best Stop did boudin corn dogs, it could be a new thing.
So,
or Billy's or whoever else is popular. I don't know.
if you're on social media this past week, little young Cardi B memes have kind of taken over. I know you said you hadn't seen them. Bob, have you seen them other than the ones that I made?
Yeah.
Okay. So I love them. I feel like that young Cardi B is my spirit animal child because she just looks so sassy. And it's a lot of like, my mama said, and you can make your own. So I made 3 that were appropriate for the area. So the first one that I made and the one that's been the most successful is, my mama said that Nunu's in Youngsville makes the best boudin, and if you don't agree, you can leave the state. So that one's been the most successful. I made, my mama said, I can't play with you because your mama don't make her own roux, which I felt like was also very appropriate, which I don't make my own roux, so I couldn't play with young Cardi B. And then the other one is, my mama said, Fat Albert's or Popeyes, don't even mess with KFC. So.
Do you like KFC?
No, don't even mess with KFC. I do not like KFC. I don't
even mess with KFC.
Yeah, don't mess with KFC. Don't even mess with KFC.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
The way it sounds like they don't even come close to KFC.
No, don't even mess with KFC. Like,
Churches is better than KFC.
So, and then one of my friends was like, well, what about Churches? I was like, girl, there was not that much room to put all that on the meme. So I did Fat Albert's and Popeyes.
We just said Churches and some people would have got mistracked.
Man, okay, so speaking of openings, the Church's Fried Chicken that's right there on Congress and Ambassador looks like it's about to open. Like, it looks all done on the outside. Yeah. They still have some stuff wrapped up. I feel like they're about to open.
I just noticed that I still miss the little mini burger place, whatever it was called. It's funny that
Crystal Burger. Yeah.
The burgers sucked. But the little mini chicken sandwiches
and the little hot dogs were really good too.
Never tried a little hot dog.
And we're going to talk about one of my favorite things on the menu later in the show when we talk about fast food desserts. But yes, I actually really miss Crystal Burger. And when I travel, if they don't have giant gas stations, I look for Crystal Burger.
White Castle, the only place I've ever been to that had like White Castle restaurants was St. Louis, Missouri, visiting my family out there. So much better than Crystal Burger.
Really?
So much. Not worth a movie, but still, like, good.
Okay.
We had a White Castle for a little bit.
Did we really?
A good while back, yeah.
I remember we used to have a Long John Silver's and a Red Lobster. I remember.
Which I think is so stupid in an area that is known for its seafood.
The Red Lobster.
But I'm not going to lie. I used to love Long John Silver's.
That is my first memory of going in an actual restaurant.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it was years ago. I was probably like maybe 5 or 6. My mother just got diagnosed with breast cancer, and my grandparents and my aunts and uncles, they came down. It was like Christmas. Everybody was visiting. So we go to Red Lobster like a couple days before Christmas to go eat with the family, and this girl was walking down like the little ramp carrying like our massive tray of food, and she like trips and talking. Instead of like trying to stop herself, she tried to save the food like while midair and just face planted.
Oh,
and
my
then,
God.
Like, all the food came crashing down on top of her like she was covered in everything in the world.
Oh, my goodness. Did she cry?
Oh, she was like destroyed. Like, I felt bad as like a little 5-year-old, and I went and helped her pick up stuff.
Oh, wow.
That was my first like
your first memory of eating out.
Like, being at a restaurant like that
was pretty disastrous.
Yeah, like, because we didn't go eat out that much. My mom cooked all the time. Like,
yeah. So it's kind of like a special
she
thing.
Never slowed down. Like, she still like held a job, helped my dad at the slaughterhouse, raised us, beat us down when we needed to be beat down, and cooked dinner while cleaning. She was a beast.
And this was like a treat. And then the poor girl dropped all y'all's food.
Oh yeah, no, like we had like 8 people. She had like a tray and some other stuff, and
somebody should have been helping her.
Yeah, more than likely they should have. I didn't realize at the time. I just like, it was normal.
This was before
but she's walking down like a little like
before you knew
handicap ramp or something like that, and just
ate it.
Like, I got no words that are safe for radio in this instance.
So, okay, Church's Chicken's about to open up. Jason's Deli, which is opening on Ambassador and Collie Saloon, is opening tomorrow.
I'm telling you right now.
And I am so excited because I live so close to that location.
The only corporation that has my permission to keep opening up stores is Jason's Deli.
Yeah, they're so good.
Their salad bar is awesome.
Bob does not like them.
What?
Bob's not a fan.
Chicken's overpriced.
I'm sure it is. But like,
I don't know. I love their salad bar and I love their sandwiches.
I love the Reuben and the pastrami. They get crazy with the amount of meat, but you can put them on different breads. Like the little herb focaccia bread is an excellent sandwich bread.
Man, when I'm sick, their soups are all I want. Like they have the best soup selection in Acadiana. I'm just going to say that.
Emily always wants soup from them.
Yes, their soup is so good. We used to eat there once a week. Like that's how obsessed I was. You get free ice cream. You can go, they have those pumpkin cheddar crackers that you can go steal and put a bunch in your purse. I didn't say that, but that's what happened. That's what happened.
Everybody always talks about the tomato basil soup at Zoe's.
I don't know if I don't think I've had soup there, but they have like 10 soups at Jason's Deli and they're all delicious. And their sandwiches are good, and the salad bar is good.
You ever got a baked potato from them?
Yes, and that's the other thing that I want when I'm sick. Yes, a loaded plain Jane baked potato and soup is like I'm Tiffany sick food.
I tried like the ranchero chicken one; it was terrible.
Yeah, no, you got to get just the plain Jane.
Yeah, but I mean, that was like I wanted to try something different because I always got the plain Jane. And I tried that, and I was like, oh, what did I do?
All right, we are going to take our first break, and when we come back, we have more with Chef Paul Krato that I'm just now introducing, who is guest co-host of the show. We'll come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Hi, this is Beth James, co-owner of Prairie Rond Rice from James Farms in St. Landry Parish. We're excited to sponsor the Lafayette Food Junkie Show here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. From the only local farm-to-table mill in Acadiana, Prairie Rond Rice is the highest quality rice that you can buy. We take great care in growing and milling to very high standards. Because we're a single variety grain, we cook more evenly. Ask for us at your local grocery store or restaurant, or purchase us online at prairierondrice.com. From our farm to your table, Prairie Rond Rice.
And now, the Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku. We are taking phone calls tonight. You will not be on the air, but if you have any questions or comments that you want to chime in on the conversation that we're having tonight, you can call 232-1542. Bob is manning the phone lines. Again, you won't be on air, but we can discuss what you say on air, potentially, unless you're being rude, and then that's not going to happen. Joining tonight as guest co-host is Chef Paul Krato. He is
What's up, guys?
Pete's and Social right now.
No, I'm actually at Charley G's and Social.
Whoa. Okay. So still in the Charley G
I was just at Pete's temporarily to kind of get them like in the groove of things, helping them with like their reopen, getting everything in order, getting a staff in place that can handle what they're doing, and getting a management team in the kitchen that can do what needs to be done. And I achieved that. It took me about 11 months to do it, but they're like running. They're getting busier. The food's awesome. They're consistent. It's great.
We're going to be at Social this Tuesday. They have a taco and tequila dinner that sold out. So I'm not really going to promo it, but yeah, so that's happening this Tuesday, and it's Taco Tuesday, but you're not going to be working at Social, you said.
No, I'm working at Social.
You are?
I'm not going to go, like, I won't be going like to the dinner there.
Right. Well, that's what I meant when I asked you earlier if you were going to be there. I know, like, you never get a night. You never get a night off. So
yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely working.
All right. This weekend was the release of the Blackberry Lemon Sour at Bayou Teche Brewing. I have not gotten a chance to check it out. I'm super excited that Bayou Teche and the one out in Parish Brewing in Broussard have been putting sours out. Mm-hmm. Now Bayou Teche is the only one that's bottling theirs right now, so you can get them bottled at the brewery. But the ones at Parish you can get in the crowlers. Yeah, is what they're, I guess, growlers. Yeah. See, this is how much growlers. I don't drink beer. But I haven't got to taste any of them yet.
I'm just like starting to try and develop a taste for IPAs.
Ooh.
I don't like sours at all right now. I've tried a few.
I love them.
And it, to me, I'm going to make everybody mad, but...
You're not, actually, because they're not that popular here.
But when I drink it, when I taste it, you ever, like, been hammered and then threw up but caught in your mouth?
You think it tastes like backwash throw up is what you're saying.
It has that same burn and nasty to it.
Okay, I'm going to disagree in the fact that, but oddly enough, I can see where you get that palate flavor from that. Cajun Brewing is also about to release their sour that they've been doing, and I'm trying to get them to come on the show because they're the only brewery that hasn't been on the show yet.
I mean, like, if I try it enough, I'm sure I'll develop a taste for it. Like, you know, if y'all want to change my mind about a sour, then give me a bunch of free beer and I'll drink it and I'll hate myself and then I might like it eventually. Have
you tried the cucumber lime gosa from Urban?
Nope.
Okay, that's my favorite one right now.
I haven't spent money on a sour. Everyone that
and
I've tried was
been a little
because they're like, I can't believe you don't like sours. I'm like, it tastes like.
See, and it's okay. So this is the thing. It has not taken off. It is just now coming to Lafayette. Yeah. It has been all over the country forever. We went to Austin. They have an all sour brewery. We unfortunately didn't get to make it out there. That was one of my big things that I wanted to do on the trip, and it just time wise didn't happen. So all over the country, it's happening. It hasn't really taken off here. It hasn't been popular here. It is just now starting to hit the market here. You're just now being able to find different sours from the local breweries because it's a different process.
I might find one that I like.
Yeah.
I'm not like completely like knocking it because I mean, I never really liked IPAs, but I'm trying to, you know, develop a more expanded palate for my beers. Like, I mean, we were all at that point where it was all like Natty Light, Budweiser, Coors, because that's what you can get, and it was always awesome. It never let you down. Mm-hmm. Then you started trying out new beers, and they were all terrible.
See, and that's...
You find that one, and it locks you in.
And that's my thing. It's like, I don't like beer. Like, I don't like the way regular beer tastes, but I like sours, and I like gosas now, and I like some shandies, and then radlers as well. I like those. But it's hot. It's hot here, and like sours are so good for summer. So that's just what I've been drinking in the summer.
There's lighter summer beers too, though.
No, but they taste like you're drinking bread, and I don't like that.
It's amazing.
It is not. We actually have a caller, so Bob's going to go ahead and take that.
What?
But yeah, so we'll see what they say. But I like sours. I know like a lot of people here are kind of like, but I feel like it's because y'all haven't been exposed to a wide range of them, and we're just now starting to get different ones in grocery stores, in restaurants, and then the brewery is being able to do that.
See, and I'm not like a fan of like the fruit beers like the Abita Strawgator.
And See, I tried the watermelon. I think it was watermelon lemon shandy today, and it wasn't bad, but it still had that bread taste to it.
The best one I've ever tried was the Sweetwater Blueberry. I actually tried it at Hangout Fest like in 2010 or 11, hammered on like Orange Beach, and some guy was like, would you like to try some free Sweetwater Blueberry? And I was like, sure, it's free, and it was awesome.
It was, oh, you like that one?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And like, even sober, it was still good, you know? Like, I tried it, and I was like, wow, like,
this is good.
Who knew?
All right. So, sadly, we lost another icon in the food world. Jonathan Gold passed last night. He was a food critic and longtime food writer for the New York Times, and he was most well known for going beyond like fine dining, and he kind of like sought out, like he would say, like finding taco trucks and he hated the word ethnic food. When you're talking about another food's culture, he hated when people called it ethnic food. Yeah. But he was kind of known for seeking out other cultures like in the LA area.
When I hear ethnic food, I think it's just like it's some random stuff from another country. I don't even know what it is. Versus saying it's this, like taking the time to learn, like who's cooking what they're giving you. It's like ethnic is just it's a nice way of saying some random food from some other place.
But he, I think they made a documentary about him, and then I know that I watched Ugly Delicious recently, and he had was on some of the episodes of that. So that being said, with the passing of Anthony Bourdain and the passing of Jonathan Gold, two big voices in the food world, it leaves us open for a market, and I'm wondering who's going to come in and who's going to step up to kind of fill their shoes, and if that's going to happen, or if food writing is going to kind of fizzle.
I don't think I think like people are going to continue to write about food. I believe you're going to get a lot of blogs. Mm-hmm. I do continue to think that it's going to be based off of like people eating versus people that actually live the life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're ever going to get the same caliber of writers as either of them. I don't think that's going to happen because the world that they grew up in doesn't exist anymore. It's Bourdain and them. He grew up in a rougher kitchen era, like where you were allowed to like throw pots at people and do all this other stuff. Like they didn't have as much PR, HR, all this other stuff that we got to deal with today. It's a lot nicer. It's not breaking. It's still a very hard industry, very hard business. It's tough regardless, but it's handled a lot better than what it was 20, 30 years ago. So I don't think we're ever going to get like that nitty gritty ever again, unless it's from someone that was older that has been through that.
And I think Jonathan Gold was one of the last food critics because, I mean, that's kind of like a dying form of food writing.
Yeah.
And so I kind of feel like that's the idea of the food critic for a newspaper is sadly dying. I mean, especially like with Yelp taking over. I know there's a lot of controversy about that.
Everyone's a food critic now. Like Yelp. Yelp is the worst thing to ever happen to any type of industry. Yelp is like, don't get me started because I'm gonna end up saying things that I shouldn't say. But Yelp is bad. Anybody on Yelp should delete their account. Get rid of anything Yelp. Period. Instagram, great.
I actually am a fan of Instagram.
Facebook, great.
I don't like Facebook.
You're not getting a bunch of random.
Some will argue that the Facebook reviews are also biased.
It's how they're presented. That's what it is. But like if you're not looking for like the reviews of the restaurant, you're looking for a post by people. You can't look for a post by a person on Yelp. You find the restaurant reviews that are made by one person who might have had a bad experience, or anything could have happened. But when you start looking for things that people actually post about this, like positives, you can see it from all eyes. When you look at Yelp, you just see the good or bad, the black and the white. You don't see the in between.
Yeah.
Through Facebook, like people like person to person posts, or like Instagram, stuff like that. You're seeing it through a bunch of different eyes. So while this person's bad experience might have been bad, these 15 other people who had an excellent experience far outweigh this. This just shows they are off once. Everyone has off days.
And on that note, we're going to take our next break. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku. Bob is manning the phone line, so if you want to join in on the conversation, it's 232-1542. And joining tonight as a guest co-host is Chef Paul Krato. Okay, we did have a caller that Bob was talking to. His name is Carl. He is a micro brewer. And Carl, I would actually love to talk to you about coming on as a guest co-host. So if you're still listening and you want to email me at Lafayette Food Junkie, it's JUNKIE @gmail.com. I can get some more information from you, because I am interested because you're a microbrewer at home. And he kind of said that the local craft brewers don't use natural fermenters and that they use plastic fermenters.
Yeah.
So, that's interesting, and I have no idea about brewing beer, so that's why I would love for you to come on a future episode. And if I get Cajun Brewing on, which I'm trying to get them on at the end of August, I can kind of talk to them about that too.
I wonder if they do use the plastic ones. Like, if let's say like that's true. I wonder if it has something to do with like the statute, the laws.
I don't know, and that's the thing. The laws are really tricky here too, because I was reading something about like you can get one where you can't like sell the beer, and you sell other breweries' beer in the brewery, and then there's one to where you can actually sell your beer like in bottles.
Yeah, no,
or cans.
The way that the health system is set up, like it's there for your protection, but at the same time, it's crazy because it stops things that have been done for hundreds of years, like raw natural milk.
Right.
Can't sell that, but you can sell cigarettes.
That's somebody else I would love to have as a guest on the show, is somebody from the health department. That would be such a crazy. How about somebody from the health department and a chef? How about you? You want to come on that? You want to come on that show?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ding ding ding.
Let's try to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about something controversial that Bob and I had a discussion about last week. So I've mastered.
Who shot first?
I've mastered meatball stew. I'm so proud of myself. Not being Cajun and not really cooking Cajun food. This is the first Cajun dish that I've mastered, and I'm super proud of it. Don't get me wrong. I love to eat Cajun food, but I don't really cook it at home. But I've mastered meatball stew because Bob loves it. It's his favorite dish. Okay, so we're sitting down to eat it, and I've had this conversation with him and other people that you're calling it stew, and it's really gravy. And what y'all call gravy is really just like the meat cooked down in its own juices with like onions and garlic and bell peppers. And that's like meat juice, essentially. It is a gravy. It's like a thin gravy.
That's great.
But growing up, I'm Southern. When we made gravy, it was roux. It was roux based, like the stew. And then he was like, no, stews are roux based. Gravies are not. And then I said, what about gumbo? Because gumbo is also roux based. So is gumbo basically a stew?
And I flipped the table and ran out.
Yeah, and you said, get out of my life for speaking such blasphemy.
Yeah, I mean, my answer is still the same. Gravy and stew. It depends on where you're from. Like I was saying, around here, your gravy is going to be, the brown from the meat, a little bit of water, meat juice. Your stew is also a gravy as far as like technical term, but it's really just an ultra thick version of gumbo that tastes like a gravy. Then you got gumbo, which is what we call a soup, but it's still essentially a stew of sorts, just not as thick. Also has gravy, or it's always referred to as like gumbo gravy or gumbo juice.
Because when I think of stew, I think of like not ground beef, but like cubed beef, potatoes, carrots, like beer usually, and it has like a little bit of a gravy. There's no flour in it.
Yeah, but like down here, we would call that soup. But like where my family from St. Louis is from, that's what they call stew. What they call soup is just broth. Or like tomato basil soup, like something that's just straight liquid. There's no solid particles. If it is, it's like pasta or like a little bit of rice or something. But
I mean, y'all can call it stew. It's delicious, but it's really
down
gravy.
Here, your soup is what the Northerners would refer to as a stew. But they don't use roux like we do, and they can't cook for the most part.
I feel like y'all are making me question reality.
Your brain can't handle it.
Up is down, left is right.
But it's true. It's like...
Well, I mean, think of it like this. All right. You got an omelet, then you got a frittata. The same thing. Just prepared a slightly different way.
This is true, but it's not the same.
But it's two different things. But it's the same. It's the number 6. That's all it is. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, all right, check this out.
It's like 6 or 9.
Yeah. Like,
it's, yeah.
Like 5, 6,
yeah, it's 6 or 9, depending on the way you look at it.
Depends on how you're looking at it.
Yeah, I don't...
Prepared slightly different. Like, you end up with the same product. Like, you could literally take a frittata and fold it over if you wanted. Then you got a puffy omelet.
And then one of my... Because I was talking about this, too. It's like... So, in North Louisiana... Actually, it's funny. My grandmother's... let's not go there. We're going to battle it out. Okay. My grandmother serves mashed potatoes and rice. So it's like both. And then she'll do like gravy, which is like just like the drippings of the meat. But she'll also make a gravy that's made with flour, and it's like Southern style gravy to go over the mashed potatoes or the rice. And so, but that's not stew.
Have you ever had smothered potatoes?
Yes.
Okay, so depending on where you go for smothered potatoes is going to be different.
Yes.
Down here, you're going to get more like of a gravy with potato chunks in it, maybe some carrots, ground meat, all kinds of other stuff. Fantastic. The farther north you go, you end up with stew, what we would call soup, or what you would call stew.
Yeah,
like
stew for me, stuff. It's like Irish, and it's cubed beef, and
it's the same thing. But the potatoes are cooked down, the juice is gone, but it has all that flavor. Or if you go way far north, like towards Michigan, their smothered potatoes is basically if you took like what you call stew, then you mashed everything together and then folded meat into it. Then that's their smothered potatoes. Like it's the same thing, but it's like completely different and bastardized, in my opinion.
So basically, wherever you go, it's going to be like going to be different.
The way I feel about it, Louisiana, like all right, Louisiana, like as a whole, I guess I'll count all of Louisiana, but Louisiana has the best food in the United States.
I agree.
Everywhere else takes our food and just butchers it. And that becomes their food. Like all food anywhere else in the United States that's not like Mexican influenced or something else, just like your regular old like country food is Louisiana food, but bastardized.
Okay, I don't agree with that. If you have taken any history class, we're going to disagree with what you said. But I will agree that Louisiana has the best food in general. But I mean, I also agree with you that the state is kind of split in that it's like North Louisiana, Southern.
It's split into three parts.
And there's Creole, and then there's Cajun. So it's like, and not many states have that much cultural diversity that we have. So we have a very rich culture, but stew is gravy.
Yeah. I'll tell you this.
It's delicious.
St. Louis has the best barbecue out of
Really?
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I'll fight.
And that's something that we don't do here a lot is like we don't have that's starting to change. Like we are starting to get some barbecue places.
Yeah,
but that's one thing that we don't do.
And that sucks.
Yeah, so it's coming around.
They got Blanchard's now.
Yes, and then Graton Eatery in St. Martinville.
I haven't eaten over there, but I do love Reggie's Soul Food. Have you ever eaten over there yet?
I have not.
Bruh.
Oh wait, yes I have. Yes I have.
Have you got their loaded fries?
No, that's what I need to check out.
Loaded fries, but substitute them for the tater tots.
Okay, yes, you told me that.
Life changing.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking Eater made a list of the ranking of the best and worst fast food desserts, and we're going to be talking about that next. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Mm-hmm. The best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku. Bob is manning the phones, and Chef Paul Krato is tonight's guest co-host. We did get another caller during the break. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, he was a gentleman from out west that found a Cajun woman, and he is a convert from potato used to be starch, but he now has seen the way and understands that rice is the only starch.
This is kind of true. Okay, so I made that meatball stew, right? And we were trying to healthify it. So instead of serving it with rice, we decided on shredded cabbage, which, if you think about it, is really good because if you get like the roast beef po' boys with the gravy, they have shredded raw cabbage on it. I happen to cook the cabbage, but I think next time I want to try it with the raw cabbage.
Yeah. I've done it with Israeli couscous. Which is
really? See, but that has carbs in it, and we're trying to do like lower carbs. I agree with you so wholeheartedly, but my ever-growing waistline does not agree with you. So we did the cabbage. It was pretty good. We did it with rice this weekend, and as we're eating it, we're like, oh my God, this is so much better.
There's just absolutely no substitute for rice.
Which we have to give a shout out to our sponsor, Prairie Run Rice.
Exactly.
Which makes the best rice.
Their rice is nice.
Have you tried it?
No.
Oh, it is. I always say that rice is nice. But
I'm just trying to make money. Just trying to see if they want to put me on air.
Yeah. Don't worry, Paul. You can co-host anytime you want. Okay, so Eater put out a ranking of fast food restaurant desserts, and number one on the list was the Wendy's Frosty, but it was the chocolate and vanilla combined, like swirled. That was their number one dessert, which I have to agree. The Frosty is pretty good. I don't know if that would necessarily be my favorite fast food dessert, but it's high up there.
It's
out of the ice cream.
The vanilla Frosty with fries is
awesome. That's where I'm at.
Okay, so second on the list, I completely disagree with. It was Taco Bell Cinnamon Twist.
Yeah.
Not a fan. No one's a fan of that.
I used to love it when there were the chips.
I think I ate it when I was in 8th grade, and that was probably the last time that I ate it. So maybe it was a preteen that was judging that portion of the thing.
Pork rind, and then it's just disappointing.
You know what you just made me think of? A cracklin, but with cinnamon sugar seasoning on it.
Yeah, but it's like a disappointing. It's like if you took like the replacement version of a stale bag of cracklins or pork rinds, and you just dusted it with cinnamon sugar and threw it in a box.
Okay.
Would have been.
But could we make a good version of cracklins with cinnamon sugar seasoning?
I bet
is now what my brain is going, or just like the pig skin, just like the pork skin, because the cracklin may be too much.
Well, if you did it with cracklins, I would approach it from like rather than like a raw seasoning, I would do it in like a syrup. Okay. I love to eat cracklins.
Bob's about to say steamed syrup. I can already see it.
Well, I was also thinking like the praline chicken that they have.
Yeah, that's true.
So my grandfather, my Papati Nig, he loved cracklins and he ate them in 2 different ways or 3 different ways. Either eat them like regular, like a normal person, or he would take fig preserves and he'd mix it up with peanut butter, or he would take the peanut butter and mix it up with maple syrup and use that as like his dip for his cracklins. And I always thought it was gross until I tried it, and everything became holy in that moment.
I don't know. We're on to something with that, like the salty and the sweet.
If you took it and you made it into like a syrup and then tossed your cracklin in it, I'm sure it would be awesome.
Okay.
Or like you can candy them. Like candy pecans, you could have candied cracklins.
Oh, yeah. You're completely right.
Can I copyright that on the radio so nobody steals it?
Third place on their fast food dessert list was the Sonic Green Apple Ice Cream Slush.
Never ate that.
I have never had it either, but because I worked at Sonic for so long, none of their desserts are appealing to me because I worked the ice cream machine. So that's kind of like, that's like a no-go for me. Okay, so some of the worst. So the number one of the worst was basically all of the Burger King dessert menu. And you were said you've never had dessert. I used to eat it a lot, but it was literally just like a frozen pie in a box.
I had their breakfast
and you
once.
Can get them anywhere.
I had their breakfast once. It was completely disappointing.
Okay, Bob just had another caller. So,
gentleman Brian, who when he moved to Austin, he comes from Louisiana, and I asked him if he ever had any of that soup they call gumbo, and also if he's ever eaten that Bedouin sausage. Bedouin. Otherwise, we would call it boudin.
Bedouin. That's a good one. I have never heard it pronounced that way before.
Yeah.
I've heard it some crazy ways, but that is definitely.
My grandparents call it boudin.
Boudin? Yeah. I've seen boudin a lot,
they also
actually.
refer to Delcum as Delcambry and Champagnes as Champagnes.
Well, it's boudin.
My grandmother gets lost with the pronunciation of streets.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Because it, like Vital, for instance, or like Douce, she would have no idea what's going on.
My favorite is one of my coworkers had moved here from somewhere else, and she was calling like the appointments for the next day, and she was like, Mr. Benoit.
Oh, man.
And I was like, that's Benoit.
Yeah.
So, but I get it. I mispronounce things even still, and I've lived here forever.
But back in the day in the Erath when I was a kid, when you first start going towards like Henry, that's when the stop signs stopped reading English and they'd read Arrête. Because they still had a ton of French-speaking old people.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, my grandmother would see that and be like, I have no idea what's going on. She's like, I know it's a stop sign, but why does it say this? And I was like, because they have people that speak French here, and only French, Grandma.
All right, so number one on the worst list was all of Burger King desserts. Number two was McDonald's ice cream, probably because the McDonald's ice cream is usually broken.
Hey, for real, though, it's true.
It is true.
It's true. But... all right, I've never worked at McDonald's, but I have worked with one of those machines. That thing breaks like every day. But
I have to say, I worked at Sonic, and our ice cream machine never broke.
It's the way this thing is built. Like it's built to fail. But
it's built
also,
to fail.
If you're going on a cleaning day it's going to be broken because cleaning it is like
that was the only time that ours was down is when we cleaned the machine, and we cleaned it once a week. And that, again, I'm not saying anything gross happened, but it's really gross cleaning an ice cream machine. To why I don't eat Sonic desserts now is because of working there for so long as a child.
Yeah, it definitely happens.
85% of the time that they say is broken, it's for real broken.
That's like ridiculous. And then so third place was for worst dessert was Popeye's Mardi Gras cheesecake, which I've never even heard of before.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know if that.
I bet it's like fried cheesecake.
No, it's not. It's just like a Mardi Gras cheesecake because some of the honorable mentions were like were Chick-fil-A's ice cream, the ice cream dream, and then also the fried apple pies from Popeyes. Okay, so what you were saying that, and Crystal Burger used to have a fried apple pie,
the little mini ones,
and it was like a big one, and it was fried, and it was the most delicious thing ever. Like I would get one of those every time I went.
If we're talking about apple pies, I have to mention Waffle House because you can get the apple pie slice there, and they can put a slice of cheese on it. And it is so good.
That's very northern to put cheese on apple pie.
Weird, but I would try it.
No, it's like it is a thing. It's like that's a very northern way to have apple pie because my grandpa would eat pears with shredded cheddar cheese on it.
Have you ever like ordered when you got like fast food? Then when you get home, you find out the order's wrong or like something.
All the time.
How many times have you called the little number that says like?
And you get a free apple pie.
Yeah. How many times have you done that?
None.
I did it once. Because I went to Whataburger.
And you wanted that apple pie.
And it was still frozen. I went off on this poor operator for like 15 minutes.
You really wanted your apple pie?
Oh, dude, they sent me like a stack. I had like 15 of them.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. Like,
wow.
I went off on this poor lady. It wasn't her fault, and I told her that when I was yelling at her on the phone.
So Whataburger has the apple pie. Is it like a hand pie, or is it like the square pie?
It's almost like a galette.
Okay.
Like it's not like soft like a galette, but like it has like openings for the apples to caramelize, and like it's hot when it's good. It's on point.
Does it have the bubbled crust that that lets me know that it was actually fried?
Yeah, and it's crispy and it's wonderful.
So they were also talking about.
I haven't eaten fast food in forever like that.
They were kind of talking about McDonald's apple pie, which is baked. I like their apple pie too. It's not as good as the fried apple pies. But it's not bad either.
You know the best thing about McDonald's right now? So, I figured this out right when they decided to start doing breakfast like 24/7. You can put an egg on anything.
Really?
You can put an egg on your Big Macs.
But do I want a McDonald's egg on my Big Mac?
It's the egg that you would get on the Egg McMuffin.
Yeah, that's like
an egg versus
it's like
the weird little
but it's
wrap.
still like a frozen egg. It's like
but it tastes better.
Not. No, you need like a fried egg, like not a poached egg.
I'm saying, but they warm it up like now, like they have like griddles and stuff like that. They warm it up on that, so it has like a little crust on it. Like,
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm
gonna have to. I guess I'm gonna have to try it.
Well, like think of it like this: you're eating McDonald's already. So why not throw an egg on it?
Just throw an egg on it. I mean, I like to eat eggs on everything, but fried eggs, not microwaved eggs.
You're eating microwave meat stuff and weird little French fries that take chemical baths before,
I don't know. Their hash browns are awesome.
You can add hash browns to anything if you want to.
Really?
Yeah. You can get crazy with it.
Now a hash brown on a burger.
Hash brown and an egg on a burger is better. Trust me.
Okay.
You could also... There's so much more you can do with their breakfast now.
Okay, that's an inside scoop because I would have never thought that you could add the breakfast things to the burgers.
You know, they got the best hash browns?
You could put the French toast on your burger if you want.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm just saying, you could.
Okay.
You could. You don't have to, but you could.
The why not stop?
Why not
stop? My goodness.
It's my new obsession.
They have the best hash browns?
It's really good.
I don't know about that. I mean, are they better than Waffle House? Because Waffle House hash browns are pretty awesome. And McDonald's hash browns are good. It's like a deep fried potato patty. Like, what's not to love about that?
True.
Yeah.
You cut it in half. It's perfectly on that little biscuit.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's definitely happening. Like, I'm definitely putting a hash brown on something. You know what is funny is I keep seeing like all these like fast casual burger places now that are serving breakfast that are putting tater tots on the biscuits, and that just made me think of that too. So it's apparently on trend now as well. That's my
whole life. Like, I don't see how people are like just figuring this out. Like, I don't know. All right, I know because the munchies.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of, I need to mention the burger that I had at Zorba's yesterday, and it was their feisty feta burger. It was hummus and feta on a burger. Yes, this is amazing. Why have I not had this before?
Zorba's is awesome.
They are amazing. You know what I like? Okay, so normally when I eat Greek food, it's like healthy. This is like if I want to eat like bad for you Greek food.
Yeah. Well, like, all right, the last time I got Zorba's, like, I've been eating at it a few times. I waited it, and I got an hour and a half later, I got my food. It was cold, and it was still better than anything I've ever got from, like, Zeus or Tiffiany.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Like,
I
cold and old.
Miss them being in the mall so much. Paul, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This is Tiffiany Deku on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.